Hello folks, my name is Mark. This is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? So today, this is a video about incels and the black pill. So I made some videos about the red pill and MGTOW and other MRM type people, so figure this is a good follow-up. So what are we talking about? What is an incel? Well, incels are the involuntarily celibate. They're the bottom of the scale. See, all the men's rights people use this scale of attractiveness, you know, like 1 to 10, and you'll hear something like, yeah, she was an 8.5 or some shit like that, when they're talking about how attractive a woman is, right? And so these guys are like the bottom of the barrel. Okay, and this isn't just me picking on them. This is them describing themselves. You'll often hear them describing themselves as subhuman. Basically, they're guys who can't get laid and who have bought into the whole manosphere bullshit. Instead of like trying to examine themselves and see what their problem is and why it's not working and possibly improve themselves, they've decided to just blame women and society for the fact that they can't get any. Right. And they're a very sad and pathetic lot, And these are words that they would use to describe themselves. This isn't just me, I'm not like picking on virgins here, So basically here's the thing, right? Because there's also a very large, persecution complex with these people. So if you go to, say, Reddit and you go to r/incels, right, something like that, you'll get, a lot of them will say, other men pick on them for being virgins and shit like that, and why do women make fun of them, and it's like, and then you, if you read through it, you'll see that these are kind of these people are fucking assholes. They're deplorable. They're despicable people, and it's just very kind of despicable people with a persecution complex who blame everybody but themselves for their own problems. And and I don't want to because here's the thing, I feel sad for these guys, right? I don't want to kick them when they're down. It's like, okay, you can't get a girlfriend, you're depressed, but it's like, the reason why you can't is not because of society, it's not because of feminism, it's because of you. But we'll come back to that in a minute. So anyway, that's basically what an incel is. An incel is like a guy who's mad and can't get laid and blames everybody, but himself, and who also believes in this manosphere shit. Right. And let's move on. What is the black pill, right? Because you'll hear that a lot, especially if you're, there's a lot of blogs and there's other YouTube guys that make videos that use that. Basically, the black pill are guys who are they're basically incels. They're those people who have tried all of that red pill bullshit and the shit hasn't worked for them, and now they're nihilistic. Okay, so it's basically taking the red pill, and slapping a bunch of nihilism, a big healthy dose of nihilism onto it, so that not only are they angry and misogynistic, they're also fucking suicidal at the same time. So if you remember that guy, Elliot Rodger from a few years ago, he was the guy that couldn't get any, and he went on this murder spree and shot 9 different women and killed them all. Basically, think of that guy. That's what these people are. So that's only one part. The other part is basically the black, when they use this term, the black pill, it's supposed to be the cold hard truth. This is the truth, right? And the same way that you'll find guys using the term red pill for other things besides sexual strategy, right? And there are a lot of that, but it seems to be the prevalent use of this is more for the sexual strategy, more for the guys who can't get laid. They fold anti-feminism into a greater nihilistic criticism of society, right? And they're always ranting about the system, the cops are corrupt, the government is corrupt, school is bullshit and it doesn't help you anyway, corporations are just exploiting you, the government is bullshit and voting doesn't fucking matter, and even if it did, both parties are the same, blah, 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 blah. And because of that, there's also a very large overlap between these people and, like, say, conspiracy theorists and racists, you know. So if you go on, like, you'll see lots of, especially anti-Semitism, you know, lots of the Jews control everything, lots of the, lots of race realist type stuff. You know, you don't really get as much, like, as you would get on, say, like, 4chan or something like that, you know. I mean, you don't really get, like, a lot of Nazi incels, at least not what I've seen. But you do see a lot of, like, race realism type pseudoscience, you know, their IQ of black people is lower, and especially when it comes to women, when, you know, when they come to judging women, like, it seems like all these people love Asian women, right? Because for some dumbass reason, you know, they tend to think that Asian women are less hypergamous, which is bullshit. You know, the real reason it's because of fucking anime, that's why, because all these guys are just, you know, weeaboos, but whatever. You know, but you'll see that sort of criticism, like, yeah, she was a, like, you know, she was a 7.5, you know, white woman, blah, 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 whatever. Like, it's, you know, so, like, there's a lot of overlap in these groups, you know, and it's not surprising because a lot of them are all the same people, but anyway. They're very, like, just pathetic, you know, and I feel bad for them. Like, for example, here on YouTube, there's a guy called Egg White, right, who makes videos, and he seems to be one of the more prevalent black pill YouTuber guys, right? And basically he's, you know, he's like a failed red pill guy. That's what he is. You know, he uses all the same terminology. You know, he talks about plates and LTRs and uses the fucking attractiveness scale and all of this other baloney, right? And he says all the same terminology that the red pill guys use, that the men's rights movement guys use. And then he'll, like, you know, so he'll say all this shit, right? And then he'll kind of turn it around and blame, you know, feminism for everything, right? Like, one of the videos this guy made basically said how he went to go get help from the police because somebody stole his identity and he couldn't get any help, which is true. You know, that shit happens all the time, you know. Like, the cops, you know, if they don't think you have merit to your case, will basically tell you to fuck off. And that's what happened to this guy, and he was really upset, right? And I feel bad for him there. But then he kind of turned around and said, well, you know, if I was a woman, they would have got their top guys on it, you know. They would have had their top agents, and they would have helped me in a minute, which is fucking bullshit. You know, there's not, and it's not just this guy, but it's a lot of these people, you know, they kind of believe in this myth of gynocentrism, you know, like, the society is built around, you know, catering to the needs of women, which is complete and total fucking horseshit. You know, that's a subject for a different video, you know. But anyway, it's like these guys, you know, you get the most, like, disgusting rhetoric ever from these people, you know, especially on Reddit for some reason. Like, there's just something about being semi-anonymous on the internet that makes people say the most disgusting fucking things, and you kind of hope that, you know, Poe's law is in effect here, and you hope that a lot of this shit is made up. Like, you know, I've seen stories about guys who have claimed to have, like, you know, like, raped people who were, like, passed out, you know, that sort of, like, roofie a girl and then, like, rape her, and, like, that was the only way he could get sex, and lots of just vile sort of, you know, blaming everybody but themselves. That's the prevailing thing. It's like, you know, they're like the perfect fucking people who are doing all the right shit, and they're really good guys on the inside, and if only goddamn society would just look past the way they look or whatever, then, you know, they would get laid. Which is, you know, that's incredibly fucking childish, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, it's the same kind of shit that you get from the red pill. It's a very, you know, adolescent, childish way of looking at the world, right? You know, and here's the thing, why do I care about this, right? Because, you know, I make these videos about MRM stuff. Why do I give a shit about it? Here's the reason why, right? I have a lot of affinity for these guys because when I was young, this is kind of how I thought, all right? I was a late bloomer. You know, I didn't lose my virginity till I was 18, right? I mean, I was still in high school, but, you know, most people lose their virginity nowadays between the ages of, you know, 16 to 21, right? So But, you know, I understand the pressure that you go through as a young man. And a lot of these guys are very young, and they think that, you know, they watch TV and they see rap videos and shit, and they think that, you got to be a player and you got to have like 17 bitches and all this other crap, and that's what being a man is all about. And it's like they don't understand that in real life it's a lot different. Real life, everybody's awkward. Real life, nothing ever works out the way you want it to, and your first experience is never what you think it is. And the truth is, to be honest, it's not about how you look. And this is a lesson that I learned with experience. Okay, it's not about how you look. How you look is 20% max of what makes you attractive. Okay, that's really what it is. I mean, because if that were the case, then fat people, ugly people, right? Short people, like, they would never get laid. And the truth is they do, okay? I'm living proof of that. I'm not, like, one thing you'll get from all of these guys is that they're always short, In fact, I had another video, a MGTOW video, about a guy who was complaining that he was 5'9". And it's like, well, I'm fucking 5'9", right? And it's not, it's not how short you are. It's not, that has nothing to fucking do with it. It's your attitude. It's your attitude, like, all right, so I'm not the tallest person in the world. I'm overweight. I've been overweight my whole fucking life. I mean, I'm actually right now in better shape than I have been in 20 years, and I owe that to my wife. Basically, she motivated me to diet and exercise and stuff, and I've actually managed to lose about 35 pounds. If you compare a video that I made in like 2013 with one today, you can kind of see the difference. I mean, but I still need to lose 20 pounds in order to hit, to not be obese anymore, right? I still weigh fucking, as of this morning, 207, and I should weigh like, 180 something, right? So, I'm not fucking, I'm not like a super attractive guy, right? But I've managed in my life to have a string of healthy relationships, the majority of them lasting more than 2 years. And now I'm happily married, In fact, I couldn't be happier, And a lot of these guys told me, don't get married and blah, 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 blah right now. And I've been married for almost 2 years, and I'm extremely happy. It's the best time in my entire fucking life, right? I've been with my wife since 2012. So this is 5 years all the way together for us. And it's like, the best thing ever. Now, and why is that? Well, because first off, I'm older. I'm older than you than you people, right? Than the majority of you incel people. I'm older than you. And, this comes with experience, okay? The world is not, so cut and dry, right? It's if because I can understand, when you're a kid, when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 25, right? Your reason to live is to just get laid and have fun. It was for me. I don't know about you, but it was for me when I was that age. That was basically the focus of my existence, was to like party and try to get laid, right? And it wasn't until I grew older that you realize that that's not what life should all be about. Well, it's a phase. Now, and I can understand if you never get to go through that phase, I can see why you could be a little bitter. What these men really need is therapy. They need help, they need therapy, because a lot of what they say is like, borderline hate speech, right? In fact, a lot of it is hate speech, and you get a lot of violent rhetoric coming out of these people, and it's not hard to see why that guy, Elliot Rodger, flipped out and went and shot a bunch of people with the shit that these people say, right? So basically that's it. It's like, I don't want to like pick on these guys, right? I don't want to make fun of them because I feel bad for them. What I want, I hope that they get the help that they need before they like, fucking like kill themselves or hurt other people, And I think it's an entire segment out there. It's like an entire movement of guys who are just guys who need help bad. And I don't know. Anyway, that's all I got, folks. Adios.